What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, man. Definitely sorry about that 2 minutes of darkness. It's a new setup, working with a brand new computer. It timed out on me as far as Google Chrome is concerned, but hopefully we don't have any more technical difficulties and things are back to normal. But it's good to see everybody out there in 49er land, you know, hanging out with your boy this morning. What's going on, Matt? Cooking Smoke Sports. So, to anybody who has subscribed to this channel, just want to say I know it hasn't been a lot of content being put out, and I apologize for that. I just had some things going on in my own life that have kind of taken over, but I'm back, and believe me, we're going to be dropping content all throughout the off season. We're going to get into everything. We're going to talk about all of the good stuff, all of the bad stuff. We already did one with my big homie Mo. Shout out to him. And we touched on the defensive line group. So now we're going to go to my favorite position, defensive back. So we're definitely going to talk about these guys, make sure that we see exactly what's going on, and I'll give you a quick assessment of who they are, what they bring to the table, and at the end, we'll let you know if there's a possibility of them actually even making the squad. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the DBs we got. So right now, and it'll seem like I'm going in alphabetical order. That's because I pulled a list, and that's kind of what it gave me. So first guy on the list is Tariq Castro Fields, 6 foot, 198 pounds, out of Penn State, fellow Nittany Lion. So we know Fred Warner will like that much. Hey, what's going on, Callie, my guy? So he had about 139 total tackles in his college career, 10 TFLs, 1 sack, and 3 interceptions. So I went ahead and pulled up some info from NFL Draft Buzz. So some of his strengths are tough and run support and works hard to get off the blocks, hard-nosed player who attacks the run and doesn't back down, good strength to tackle, plays with high energy, is a tough-minded overachiever, has at least adequate straight line speed and good balance, fluidity to change direction, attacks the ball with authority, and quick read and reactability, willing to be a physical tackler, flashes toughness and aggressiveness, nature versus the run, aggressive nature versus the run, aware zone cornerback who is also adept in man coverage, flashing physical ability, flashing physical hand punch at the line, and straight line speed to stay with receivers downfield. So those are all beautiful things as far as I'm concerned when it comes to his strengths. Now, some of his weaknesses is inconsistent getting out blocks, can be a step slow to react when the quarterback comes back to his side of the field in late progression. A questionable technique when he gets lazy with fundamentals, sometimes getting high in his back pedal and will breach the coverage call, seeking flashy plays, vulnerable to big plays, trying to bait the quarterback, undisciplined with inconsistent technique and does a poor job of finishing in space, suspect ball skills and can be eliminated from the play by a single blocker, lacks instincts with shaky awareness, is over aggressive and too often bites on fakes and misdirection. So all of his weaknesses are things that can be fixed. I love his strengths and I love exactly what they're stating, but all of his weaknesses are simple fixes when it comes to the NFL. And that's mainly what you do it for, because at the end of the day, these DB coaches are there to be able to fine tune your weaknesses and then play to your strengths. That's exactly what it is. So it definitely it is a beautiful thing when you have a guy coming in and, 6 foot, 198 is prototypical DB size. You don't catch too many DBs over 6 feet. They're usually about 5'11" at a minimum, and 6 foot at a max. But I like his strengths more than I have to worry about his weaknesses. So I think Sam Womack is definitely going to be a great addition to the squad. So I don't see a negative thing going on with him. I mean, all of those things, as I stated, are things that can be fixed. Those are things fixed with being coached up. And as long as he's a coachable guy they'll be able to help him with that. As far as the aggressiveness and kind of biting on certain things, that's okay. Because sometimes it's good to be over aggressive because it gives you the opportunity to be able to make a play. You just have to know when to be over aggressive and not make it a consistent habit that always winds up getting you in trouble, which is kind of what they alluded to. But as I stated, he can get that taken care of with some coaching. So, next guy up on the list is Darqueze Dennard. He's been in the league 8 years since being first drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. Has played for the Bengals um, and a few games for the Falcons. He has 3 sacks, 4 interceptions, 7 TFLs in his NFL career right now. He's being praised for his veteran presence and how he is helping the young guys along in their learning process of the game. Most games he started in a year was 9 and only has a total of 30 career starts over an 8-year career. It said that he's currently making a strong push to be our starting nickel corner. Now, don't get me wrong. Darqueze Dennard was a name when he came out. I believe he was a former first-round pick, and the Bengals did take him a little high. But the issue is I mean, over 8 years, you only have 30 starts. I don't know, man. I don't know. That definitely gives me a little cause to pause, so to speak, when it comes down to it, because when you are in the league for 8 years, you should have cracked the starting lineup at some point. So that tells me they're just kind of taking a chance on the guy that they feel may have gotten a raw deal and may just not have gotten onto the field when it comes down to it. So I can completely understand that. As far as Dennard is concerned, everything I just stated right now is pretty true. Those are the reports coming out of OTAs and voluntary OTAs for him. So we'll see what happens in the future. I don't have an issue with him going ahead and making that starting position, taking a starting spot at the nickel spot if that's what he's available to do. So, we'll see what happens with Darqueze Dennard. So now we have another kid, Kadar Hallman. He's been in the league 2 years with the Packers and has done nothing at this point. He's most likely a camp body. I don't know much about Hallman. Probably not going to speak much on him because I don't have enough info. But at the end of the day, hey, man, this guy simply is just another guy. Like I said, I looked at the stats. There's nothing there. Like, he really has nothing much to go on. Plus, he's probably just upset at the fact that he's on the Packers and we keep kicking their ass in the playoffs every year. Next guy up is one name that you'll always consistently hear, and that's Dante Johnson. A consistent DB on the 49ers. He seems to find his way on our roster every year. I always joke and say even when he's cut, he doesn't look for a job because he knows the Niners will call. So the reason that I say that is because he's been on the team just about every year. I think he only spent 1 year in Seattle. So any other time that he's played in the league, he's been with the 49ers. Dante is able to play left cornerback, right cornerback, nickel, and he plays a little bit of safety as well. So he's a versatile DB, but my issue with Johnson is he's very inconsistent and he's super suspect when it comes to, getting beat. And he doesn't have the speed to keep up with the deep offensive weapons as far as the speedy guys. But it is what it is, man. He finds his way onto this roster every year. He consistently makes it. And I guess he's probably going to be here another year, man. You know how it is. It's some guys just are mainstays and they wind up being there because they have built a good rapport with the team, along with the fact that they basically have, some skills to go along with it. So while he's not a horrible DB, he's not great by any stretch of the imagination. So I give him a high probability of making it just because of the familiarity with the scheme and the people in the building. Next guy up on the list is Qwuantrezz Knight. He started his career with Maryland in college, which is where we got Vernon Davis from, and was there for 2 years, went on to Kent State for a year. He finished his last 2 years of eligibility at UCLA. It's my college squad. Respect my gang. He is a sure tackler with an eye for the ball, but no interceptions in his college career and only 7 passes defense. So that to me is a little suspect. Like, you've been in the game. You took all 5 years in college and not one INT and only 7 passes defense over 5 years. I mean, those are pretty low numbers, but I do have his profile. So let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what we're talking about. So these are some of his strengths. Once again, shout out NFL Draft Buzz. flashes some physical ability as some physicality as a hitter, good instincts and anticipation, reads and reacts with discipline, dangerous with the ball in his hands, savvy cover skills to recognize and anticipate routes, understands what's coming, and has a good ball skills, very good instincts, especially in the box. Sound and solid tackler, takes good angles in pursuit, can deliver the big hit, and isn't afraid to jump inside to slow the ball. Weaknesses: opens his hips too early to allow himself to get turned around in coverage, needs to tighten his angles in pursuit, needs to show better tackling technique to consistently finish, takes poor angles on the ball, and lacks pure speed to chase down the ball carrier. So they just contradicted themselves because they just said that he was good with that. Um, Not an explosive player and needs to show better bend and flexibility in his drops, plays too high, too hands on downfield, and has suspect instincts. So this is what I will tell you. Once again, we're back to everything that is being stated can be fixed. This is all going to be fixed with the help of, hey, what's going on, 49ers throwback? Oh, believe me. Yeah, I'm going to put this comment up and just leave it up there for a second. We all feel this way. Believe me, nobody wants to see him gone more than me. I call him 10. Every now and then I slip up and call him by his name, but I call him 10. I just can't wait for him to get up out of here. But with going back to Quantrez Knight, basically all of these things can be fixed. This is just stuff that's where you coach it up, you do exactly what you're supposed to do, and you continue to make progression throughout the time that you're in the league. It's not that I like Knight strictly because he's from UCLA, but hey, don't hate on me for being a homer. It is what it is. But I do expect him to at least possibly make the roster or earn himself a practice squad spot to be called up if by some freaking nature chance there are injuries. Hopefully there are no injuries this year and we can just play. Everybody's healthy. We just keep on pushing. But injuries do happen. It is the NFL. These things are unavoidable. So moving on, we have Deommodore Lenoir. So Lenoir was set to be our nickelback and trained behind one of the best in K'Waun Williams, who is now with the New York Jets, but for some reason couldn't get onto the field after starting 2 games for us. He fell on the depth chart and, hope to see him compete and get back in the mix for a spot this year. Now, Lenoir seemed to be all of the talk, all of the rage in the offseason last year. Everybody liked him. He seemed to be doing well. He had that interception. He was wearing number 48. Everything seemed to be, headed in the right direction for him. And randomly, he gets benched, because we just seem to find veteran DBs and everybody went with that. So I don't know what happened in the building as it pertains to why Lenoir was benched. But hey, you leave it to me. I would have left him on the field and let him continue to develop. It's the only way you're going to get better is with reps. You got to have live reps to be able to consistently play better and do more things. So for me, shout out Deommodore Lenoir. I hope you continue to progress. Hope you make, some big strides in the offseason. He does have ties to Deion Sanders, so hopefully he's out there training with him. And if anything, man, I just want to make sure that he makes the squad so he can be able to be out there, compete, make some plays, and continue to grow his name, his brand, and continue to make the 49ers a better squad. So the next guy up on the list is Emmanuel Moseley. Been with the Niners for a couple of years now as a UDFA. He's earned himself contracts and started for us in several games. One of the few bright spots in that 2020 disaster COVID year. He started 28 games with us in 4 years. He has 3 interceptions and 28 passes defense. Expect him to compete for a starting role on the defense. Emmanuel Moseley is a solid corner. He's been there with us for, like I said, the last 4 years, and I expect him to be a baller, man. I expect him to come out and push any and everybody to get on that field. We have other DBs to continue to talk about, but at the end of the day, you're still going to want to respect Emmanuel Moseley. That young man is a baller, and, every now and then, everyone has a suspect play. But he's consistent. He knows the scheme. And I feel like he's definitely going to continue to be a fantastic asset for us. So next up on the list Ambry Thomas, a bright spot last year. Thomas's first two games were rough. He came out of Michigan. Shout out to my dog Breezy. And couldn't crack the starting roster in 2021. Was on the bench most of the year. Then he got a chance on special teams and was thrust into the starting role due to injuries. He started 5 games with 1 interception, 27 tackles, and only got better the more he played. His offseason has been spent giving back. Kid is amazing with his philanthropy off the field. I expect him to come back better than ever and fight for snaps on the field. So what I would say, speaking in reference to his philanthropy, this dude was over in Africa building wells to bring water to places that don't have it. He's been back in the community out there in SF, just doing things to try to make stuff better. So I mean, he's a good human, and you always need that on your team, man. You need that person that does those philanthropic things and can be able to reach out and touch the people. And those are the kind of guys that you send out when you send them to a school, or you send them on media things. Why? Because they look great to the public and they genuinely mean what they say, and they genuinely are great people. You sometimes you can send the superstars to do things, but when you send guys like this, people respect it just a little bit more because they look at it and go, this guy's really out here trying to help us out. I was just in SF not too long ago. My lovely wife, shout out to my wife, Jasmine. She took me to San Francisco for my birthday. I was able to ride the trolley and do some amazing things. I am nothing without her. You know how they say, behind every great man, there's a great woman. Well, I switched that up. And beside every great man, there's a great woman. She's always right there beside me. And, I appreciate her for any and everything that she's helped me with. So San Francisco is a beautiful place, but it was fun, man. Went to Alcatraz, did some things. It was just saw the Golden Gate Bridge. Like it was just a fantastic time. And I owed all to my wife, man. She's my rock. But Ambry Thomas, man, this kid, his first few games, we all looked. I know I said it, and I had to eat my words because he was getting just murdered. His first game, he looked like hot garbage. His second game didn't look much better. His third game came, he started to show up. His fourth game came, and he showed up even more. And fifth game came, I'm like, yo, this kid is just what? I don't know what happened. He woke up from week to week and just got better, better, and better. So I appreciate him for continuing to grow and progress in this league. And to me, I'm glad we picked him, man. Kid turned out to be a great find. And once again, I believe he was another 5th-round pick. That's where John Lynch makes his money, y'all. We all know this. If you've been watching the 49ers, and even if you just started watching with this new regime, Kyle and John, his 5th-round picks seem to hit. They hit different. So do expect Ambry Thomas to fight for a spot on the field, man. And I hope he continues to get better. And shout out to him for all the philanthropic things he's been doing in the offseason, and most likely will continue to do throughout the rest of his days. Next guy on the field, the man, the myth, the injury, Jason Verrett. Now, here's the thing. I know I say the man, the myth, the injury, and everybody kind of looks at me like, yo, man, that's a little harsh. This is what I will say. But though it may be harsh, Jason Verrett has an injury history, man. Let's just take a look at what I put. I know it sounds bad to start off that way, but it's the truth. When healthy, Verrett is a top 3 corner in the league. Issue is he's never healthy. Verrett has been in the league since 2014 when he was drafted by the then San Diego Chargers, who are now the Los Angeles Chargers. And has only started 36 games and had 2 seasons where he played at least 13. He has 7 career interceptions and 26 passes defense. If he is fully recovered from the ACL tear, I expect him to start opposite Charvarius Ward. I do expect him to start if he is fully healthy, strictly based on the fact that I see him being, a fantastic defensive back. My comments on him never change. If he's healthy, he's a top 3 corner in the league. There are not many other corners in this league that are going to be better than Jason Verrett when fully healthy and locked in. The guy is an amazing talent. It's very unfortunate that most of his career has been spent on the bench due to various injuries, but I hope that he can remain healthy because I can tell you right now, if I have a starting squad and my 2 safeties are Jimmy Ward Talanoa Hufanga, and my starting DBs are Charvarius Ward and Jason Verrett, I feel very, very comfortable, especially with the front seven that we're going to have on the field. As long as everyone is healthy, all those DBs' jobs is going to be cake. And it is going to allow them to have the option to be able to, bite on a few plays and or go ahead and take chances to be able to allow themselves to get an interception. Why? Because that front seven is going to be putting so much pressure on the quarterback. It's definitely going to be real scary. That pocket is going to collapse faster than they think, and we shall see, man. So next guy up on the list is Sam Womack, a defensive back out of Toledo. He ended his college career with uh, 126 tackles, 4.5 TFLs, and 39 passes defense. He obviously has an eye for the ball, and as a UDFA is looking to solidify his spot on the roster. So I've got a profile for Sam Womack as well. Let me go ahead and shut out Quantrez Knight. Let's take a look. Sam Womack. He ran a 4.52 40, 5'10", 187, and we picked him up in round 5. So this guy, this might be the dude. Savvy cover skills to recognize and anticipate routes, understands what's coming and has good ball skills, extremely aggressive to come up and put his body in traffic to make tackles, alert defender for zone coverage, which is what we run, so that's awesome, showing good understanding of route progressions uh, occurring behind him, and quick burst downhill to break on underneath passes in front of him. Good instincts and anticipation, reads and reacts with discipline, dangerous with the ball in his hands, aware zone cornerback who is adept in man coverage, flashing physical hand punch at the line, and straight line speed to stay with receivers downfield. So just alone in his strengths, he is the prototypical defensive back for the system that we run. We play a little man. We play zone. So these are all things and values that he possesses. So it seems like this guy is definitely a good fit for this type of defense. Some of his weaknesses will slip off tackles and needs to finish more consistency, lacks ideal size and frame with limited measurables and short arms that render him helpless against bigger receivers. Can leap, but his size will be detrimental in box out situations. True. Bites on play action and isn't always in tune with the rest of the secondary. Only average height and a choppy back pedal, not sure-handed catching interceptions or punts, only average size for the position. So he currently is 5'10", 187. Here's the thing. 5'10", 187 isn't a negative thing. It's not bad. Basically, the average DB is usually about 5'11", 6 foot. So he's not really too far outside the realm of possibility. I like his strengths better than I like his weaknesses. His weaknesses are things that can be coached up. He will have to wind up working with all of the other DBs and find himself with them as a unit, and hopefully they're hanging out, growing and building a bond, and being able to teach these young dudes exactly how to be able to play the game and everything. I mean, like, these aren't things that you can't fix. Once again, all of the weaknesses that I've named from any of the DBs that we have, whether they be UDFAs or actual draft picks, the number one thing is all of this stuff can be fixed. You just have to be coached up, and you can be a coach. And as long as you're a coachable guy, you don't have to worry about these things. That's where the blessing comes in. If you're one of those dudes, I know what I don't need your help. This, that, and the third, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're that, I guess I could give you the simplest example I can think of off the top of my dome is Dwight Howard when he was first with the Lakers. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar offered to help him with his game, and he declined as if he knew it all. You get a call from Kareem, you better take that help. Kareem is one of the greatest, okay? That sky hook was disgusting. So you got to be ready for it. You got to be able to, take that coaching, understand the constructive criticism, and put it into play on the field. That's all it really is. So Charvarius Ward, a newcomer to the Niners. Ward comes over on a 3-year deal from the Chiefs, our biggest offseason acquisition at DB, which was a point of emphasis for the Niners for years. Now we have a deep DB room, and he is expected to be the starter from day one. 4 interceptions, 29 passes defense, and 3 years of experience, along with 223 tackles over his career. He looks very promising. Now, what I've been hearing is that they love how he teaches the young kids when it comes to the other DBs in the room, along with the fact that he's got great leadership skills. I expect Ward to definitely be the starter, left or right cornerback, whichever it is. And I definitely expect him to be out there and make some plays. You know, give a guy a 3-year contract with the amount of money you gave him and expect him to be on the bench. Hopefully, this guy can continue to do great things, continue to grow, and be a leader in our defensive back locker room. And all I want to do is see him get out there and make some plays, man. He's got the size, he's got the length. So let's hope everything rock and rolls with him. So the projected starters, provided everyone is healthy and we have no injuries, fingers crossed, should be Ward, Barrett, and Denard. That is subject to change via training camp, cuts, etc. I expect us to keep about 5 to 6 DBs on the active roster. Last year, we all know we went shopping in the dumpster, Dollar Tree, and the 99-cent store for DBs all year long. Norman was good until he couldn't punch the ball out anymore. Kirkpatrick still hasn't found his soul after Eno Benjamin trucked it out of him. And there are too many other disappointments to speak of at DB from last year. Fact is, we're healthy right now and are deeper at this position than we've ever been with this current regime. I expect great competition and fantastic play from these young men. Preseason will be a great way to showcase this outside of training camp. With only 3 games, everyone must show up and show out. I can tell you who I expect to make the roster, and they are as follows: Barrett, Mosley, Ward, Thomas. After those 4, it's anybody's guess to keep it a buck. Johnson will probably make the squad. Lenore has an inside track knowing the system, but don't count out the UDFAs. They can still make some noise. Who do you think will be the guys that make it? Drop it in the comments. With that being said, man, that's all I've got for you as far as this is concerned. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and taking a look. Shout out to Cook Smoke Sports, Matt, Callie Young, 49ers Throwback, and anybody else that views this video. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Definitely, about the channel, and I'll continue to bring you more content. We covered the DBs, we covered the defensive line. So we're going to cover the safeties and every other position group as we continue on. I'm in the works to get somebody in here to speak about the O-line, and we will see if we can get a good person in here to give us some spotlight on that. But thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning of the video. So if you do watch this video, I encourage you skip past about the first 2-3 minutes because for some reason the internet decided to act up, man. But thank you very much, Cook Smoke Sports. Shout out to you. I do believe that Bosa can win Defensive Player of the Year. I do believe he's in line for it. Let's hope that the referees stop missing the holding calls, because I don't know how many times you saw him either getting an arm around his neck or being held back by 2 people with his arms fully extended, and people just missed it and act like they didn't see it. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but it basically, unfortunately, it's an offensive game. You know, they want the offensive score, so it is what it is. As I previously stated, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll continue to be bringing you more and more content. Probably be editing some videos and bringing some people in and being able to, upload pictures and just continue to grow the channel and do some better things. But I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'm out. Peace.